Hey everyone, it's KAF here. As always, I'm excited to be making another video lesson for you. This lesson is going to be really important, especially for those who are within my chat room or who are trying to figure out how to appropriately use stop orders in order to get really good entries on these plays. A lot of people ask me, I'm not sure how to get the best entry, in a certain stock. How do you do it? How do you get a good exit? So that's what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to be talking about using buy stop orders here. So let's get started here. I'm going to use a real life example here. And the example I'm going to be using is CANN. This was a stock we traded a couple days ago and it made an incredible move. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this diagram here shortly, but let's talk about it initially here first. This is the active trader portion of the ThinkOrSwim platform. Okay. And I will show you, let me jump over here and show you what this actually looks like here. This is the active trader here. Here's my level 2's time and sells, and here's the chart. And so as you'll see, I just had magnified this over there. So what I have set up here for CANN is I am trying to buy this stock on the break over $3.50. Okay, and I had a watch list sent out the night before, as you see here. This is December 11th. I sent this out December 10th. It was for December 11th. And if you check out here on the watch list, I say I'm going to be buying this stock CANN over the $3.50 level. I give my reason here, talk about the share flow, all these things. So I say I'm going to be buying over $3.50. Price target as high as the $4 area. And so that was my plan. All right. So the next morning comes. I'm using the on-demand feature with ThinkOrSwim. So I'm going back in time to show you guys how I traded this and how I used a buy stop order to get a really nice fill in it. So I had my plan to buy this on the break over $3.50. Let me get rid of this real quick. Now, how do I do this? How do I set up? I use brackets. I use a buy stop order. How do I go about doing this? The way I do this here is I have a saved template in here, percentages. And in other previous videos of mine, I talk about how I set up this save template here, percentages. And so definitely go watch my other video called Ideal Setup for Day Trading. Go click on my channel and watch that video if you're curious how I set this up to be like this with a minus 5% stop loss and a plus 12% profit take. Definitely go check that out here. So this is what I do. I want to wait for this to break over the $3.50 level because that's my resistance level and that's the break over the bull flag. And I want to buy it once it hits 351. So we'll say I'm trying to buy 200 shares here. Again, this is just simulated trading. This is not a real trade here. Just want to show you guys. So how I'm going to do this here is I'm simply going to click here on the 351 level here and watch what happens. Oh, okay. Now watch what happens. Look at that. It's all set up. This is my stop loss, and this is my profit taking way up here. It's way up at, close to the 394 area. Okay, so that's a plus 10% profit taking stop loss, and this is a minus 5% stop loss here. Sorry, this is a plus 10% limit order to take profits, and this is a minus 5% stop loss order to get me out of the trade. This is called an OCO order, and watch how cool this is. Just check this out real quick. Look at this. If I want, I can move this all around wherever I want to. And I can also grab this thing here just to show you guys where my profit taking thing is there. So that's where it is. And this is all just set in. Okay. So as soon as my order actually gets filled here at 351, these two other orders will be going in. Now, what do I mean by a buy stop order? What is a buy stop order? A buy stop order means that this buy order right here to buy 200 shares does not get triggered. It's not activated until price action hits $3.51. All right. So you'll see here, there's currently some heavy resistance at the $3.50 area. You can see that also here on level 2's 350. There's a bunch of asks stacked up here at the 350 level. And here with time and sales, you'll see as well. I'm gonna go ahead and press play. This is 7:42 in the morning. Again, this is just simulated trading. This is not real trading. ThinkOrSwim has this awesome feature called On Demand where you can go back in time and practice making trades. So let's watch how this pans out. Okay, you can see the sells coming in. The buys are hitting The buys are hitting that 350 level, and you can see this resistance starting to come down. All right, starting to come down. This was, had thousands before here at this level. It's slowly coming down, this 350 level. This is how you read level 2s, by the way. I also have a separate video about how to read level 2s using the ThinkOrSwim platform as well. Okay, let me pause it real quick. Price action just broke to 351. All right. Now, because this is simulated trade and because it's on demand, it's a little bit glitchy. So my buy didn't technically get executed here in on-demand trading. But had this been live trading, my buy order, this order would then become active, and it would try and buy all the possible shares that it could. I have 200 shares, so it's going to try and buy shares at 351 initially. And then it's going to, if there's no shares to buy at 351, then it's going to buy the rest of the shares at 352. If there's no shares to be bought at 352, then it's going to buy any shares that are available to buy at 353, and so on and so forth. Okay, just keeps going up the ladder. So this is a buy stop order. It's going to get me in the best possible price, as close to where I put it at. Okay, now ideally I would get in at 351. Okay. But those shares, as you can see, were bought quickly. So that is how a buy stop order works. All right, so let's press play and watch this carry out here. So I'm in, to try and help better simulate this whole process. I'm going to just I'm going to go ahead and just buy here. Just so you guys can see. Buy limit order, 200 shares. Send. Okay, I'm in. So you can see I'm in 200 shares now. Again, usually I wouldn't have to do that because the on-demand feature is a little bit lagged. I kind of had to do that. So I'm going to press play here and watch how this carries out. This is my profit loss open, profit loss day here on this stock. Let's watch how this carries out. So it broke over that important resistance level, and this thing just takes off. So you can see my profits here starting to add up. Now, I was actually in a lot more than 200 shares in this scenario, but this is just to help paint a picture and giving you an example here of how this works. So I have my sell in. You can see here my sell is still in way up at the 390 level. My stop loss is here at 335. So at this point I'm in, I'm feeling comfortable. I'm loving this price action that I'm getting. I'm loving these buys. Look at this buy, for example, 11,000 shares here at 360, 3,000 shares at 360, getting some really nice buying pressure. Okay, so I'm watching this, trying to decide, at what point should I take profits and whatnot. So I'm just patiently waiting, and this trade actually takes a little bit for it to pan out. I'm patiently waiting though, and as price action starts to head upward, what I will frequently do is I will drag this stop loss order upwards. So I'm going to drag it to 339 here. It was initially at 334, and this keeps popping up, but watch, if I check auto send, it won't do that. I usually have this checked on my actual trading platform, so I don't have to confirm every time, because that just takes a little bit extra time. So, price action's going up. I'm actually going to fast forward a minute or so here. It's so cool. This feature is just so cool. Fast forward 2 minutes there. Love this feature. All right, so we're 2 minutes in. There's still a ton of buying pressure here at the 360 level. Look at these big, huge buys coming in. So when I was in this trade watching this, I was just loving this. I was eating this up. And this all shows really big signs of strength. The big sizes are green and are buys on the ask. Now, there's definitely some, you can see there's resistance here at 360, 2430, but watch as this just slowly comes down. Just boom. Went from 2430 down to 16. Now someone undercut the ask and is trying to get out at 359, but look at this support, 8,000 bids here at 358. So as I'm watching this, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I feel really comfortable about it. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward another couple minutes here. We'll fast forward 2 minutes again, and we finally get over that important 360 level. All right, let me press play here. Finally get over that important 360 level. So as price action continues to work its way upward, watch what I do with my stop loss. I just continually drag it up in 5-cent increments. Because as price action moves upward, I kind of want to have it, I want to have this stop trail a little bit. My goal is eventually to drag this to my entry point here, where I got in at 351. That way, if the trade ends up coming back down, then I'm out stopped even and don't lose anything. But I just kind of slowly will trail this up. This is how I really trade, okay? This is real life strategy of how I trade. So I'm going to fast forward again a minute here. And you'll see we're continuing to get that buying action. And I'm loving it. At this point, I'm starting to talk myself in. I'm trying to talk myself out of taking profits. I'm telling myself, be patient, Connor. Be patient, KAF. My real name's Connor, by the way. Be patient, KAF. Let this play out into my trade plan. Remember, I had this trade plan. I said price target as high as $4. So at this point, I'm just trying to be patient, because what I frequently do is take profits early, really early. And at this point, I'm just like, be patient, trust in your trade plan, let this thing carry out. And it was. So it's starting to inch up a little bit closer towards my sell limit here. If I wanted to drag my sell limit, let's just say I did want to get out and take profits. Well, the way I would do that, there's a couple options. One, I can hit this flatten button right here. If I press this flatten button, it's going to sell into the bid. So I'd get out at 372 from a 351 entry, and that'd be pretty awesome. It'd be pretty awesome profits there. Of course, this only says $40, but in real life, I bought a lot more than 200 shares. Another way I could change my sell orders, I can here on Active Trader, I can grab this and I can drag it down if I want. I can move it wherever I want. But I'll just keep it here at 395. I can also drag my stop loss up over here as well. If I want to drag my stop loss, instead of doing it on the chart here, I can do it over here. But anyways, I managed to talk myself into staying nice and patient with this. You see price action just kept coming in our favor here. Let me drag this down so you can see a little bit. I'll fast forward another minute. Look at these huge buys. This is why I stayed in. These huge buys on the ask. Just love seeing that. Okay, when you're watching level 2s and time and sells, that's what you want to see, is these buys. Now some sells, some people are starting to take a little bit of profit here, so I'm noting that and saying, okay, maybe it'll be a little bit concerned. But I managed to talk myself into being patient here. And let me fast forward another couple minutes as we near my price target here. Go sideways a little bit here at this area. I believe it is at this point that I dragged this up to 349, which is where I ended up leaving it for the rest of the trade. So that way, if it came down, I would be out. I'd be out dead even. Fast forward a couple more minutes here. Keeps going sideways a little bit, but it's holding its gains relatively well. You see this huge resistance here at 375. Fast forward 2 more minutes. Finally get this resistance to start coming down a little bit. Fast forward another minute here. And it's actually pretty interesting to see. Did you see how this 375 is slowly starting to come down? Resistance is slowly starting to come down. Big buys still here in the green. So I end up staying down in anticipation of this break. Fast forward a couple more minutes. 3 minutes here this time. And we finally broke over that 375, gave us a nice pop. And you can probably guess what ends up happening. I end up getting out at where my 10% take profit bracket was right here. So it was just a real nice trade. Keep fast forwarding it to try and show the execution here. Real nice trade, all up to 390. Now this ended up continuing. I believe this ended up hitting 430, but I was more than happy about taking my 10% or so on this trade for my 351 entry. So I hope this paints a little bit of picture. You can see I ended up staying in because we still just have these huge buys on the ask. People are buying big chunks, 5,000 shares on the ask. And that's what you want to watch for is with this time and sell. There's another big buy, 4,100 shares on the ask, 1,000 shares on the ask. That's what you want to watch for strength. As long as these asks keep coming down, that's what you're watching for. Boom, new highs. It's just awesome. This is textbook. That's why I stayed in this trade as long as I did. And then it's going to end up getting me out here, I think, in another minute or so. There, right there, boom. But of course, there's a lot of shares, so I'm trying to get out here. But there's other people trying to get out as well. Then I end up getting out. I don't know if this platform will actually execute my sell or not. But I'd be out at this point. So I would have been just out right now. So just to kind of help simulate that, I'll press flatten just to show that I got out at 395. And boom, I'm out. So with 200 shares, I would have had about $100 in profit. Like I said, I had a lot more than 200 shares, so it was a lot more profit than that. But I hope this is helpful to show how I traded this out of this pattern and how I used a buy stop order in it. That's why it's so important to have a buy stop order in it. A buy stop order there at 351. That's how I use them. That's how I execute it. Now, there is a difference between a buy stop order and a buy stop limit. All right. And that difference is, you know what, let me go back here and I'll show you what that difference is. We'll go to 7:44. I believe that's the time where it was about to break over 350. Oh, no, let's go back one more minute so I can show you guys what I mean here, what the difference is. Okay, so I had a buy stop order in here at 351, buy stop, okay? So that order's in. Now, if I would have had a buy stop limit in, that means I have to go in and put in two separate prices. I have to put in my trigger price, which would be this at 351, and then I have to put in a second price, which would be the limit. So let's just say, for example, I put the limit at 353. So that means that as soon as the price hits 351, this buy order is activated and it's going to try to buy as many shares as possible. In this case, you can see there's shares to buy right here. I'd get 100 shares at 351 and I'd end up getting 100 shares at 352, technically speaking. Now, let's say I was trying to buy 1,000 shares, okay? Well, I'd get filled 200 shares here, but because my limit is here at 353, my order would then get transferred to a limit order for the rest of the 700 shares. So I wouldn't for sure get in. And if price action just took off past this, like it did end up doing, I would never get in. I'd never get filled the rest of my shares. So I don't like using buy stop limit orders. I usually just use buy stop orders to make sure I can get in the best situation possible. So I hope this is helpful. Showed you how I use these brackets. These brackets are just so nice. Look at these things. Let me show you these brackets. Look at that. All you have to do is click one price and it sets up your take profit area. Then of course you can drag it down, or drag your stop up, drag this up. So nice. Just love ThinkOrSwim platform. So I hope this is helpful. Let me just show you my website here, kafinvesting.com. Come join us. We'd love to have you join us. I'm willing to work with you personally one-on-one to help you through and get you through these learning curves of how do I set up all these different things. I'll talk with you and work with you one-on-one. I spent hours today talking with new members and helping them talk strategy. Why have they been read? What tendencies, what bad habits do they have? And things like that. So come join me. Come join us here. Fill this out. I'll send you the information to your email. And we'd love to have you join us. Also, here's my Twitter account if you want to come give me a follow on Twitter at KFInvesting. We had a huge trade today. It was so cool. Check out this trade we had today. AMPE was so textbook. We were on the live voice channel. I have a live voice channel in the chat room where I talk live through all the trades and stuff I'm seeing. And I mentioned this was actually at 183 in pre-market. And I was like, guys, I'm really tempted by this at 183 in pre-market. I ended up not. We did have some members get in pre-market, but I ended up waiting for it to go over 195. So I used a buy stop order over 195, exactly like I showed you. And look at this. This thing just took off. It was so nice. Now I didn't take profit at 284. I'm not going to try and claim that. I took profit at I think my 215 area, 196 to 215 or something like that, which is still an awesome trade. So anyways, come give us a follow on Twitter as well. So we hope to see you in the chat room with us. I hope it's helpful. Like this video, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. If you have a question, I will definitely respond to your question.